It's episode 65, yeah, the Tru-Mon Show with Jimi, Mar, and Jennifer. How are you guys?
Good.
Great.
Good. So we're back today for another episode live on YouTube, of course, and we're going to talk about there's been a lot of stuff that's been spoken and said, and a lot of stuff written also on the internet about the giant trees and the giants and all that hype that's going around. That video, it's going viral. I think now I can honestly say it went viral because everybody's talking about it. Even some people are using it maybe to create a little bit more distraction with the flat earth. And this whole thing, why it came attached to the flat earth also is something we can discuss. But anyway, I'm sure you guys have a lot of stuff to say about it. And also where someone sparked me this week, like I said, when I was on Facebook with Jennifer, and the guy said, oh, the giant trees are there and the stuff, and it's the new thing now, so never mind the flat earth. Flat earth is old news. Like, flat earth, it can never become old news until everybody knows about it, everybody wake up. Like, it can never become an old news. I don't believe, I know that. I know I don't believe. I hate to say the word I believe now. Because I know what it means, the lie in it. So I try to not use believe. I know it can never be an old news, because what is old news in the place where we live? Like what? Because us, we know, and we've been into it for a year and a half now. We stopped talking about it? No, it's very important to always share. I think your feeling towards it and how you feel and with everybody that surrounds you, because come on, me, at every breath I take I become more alive, so it's important to share it with everybody I know, and especially on YouTube. And that's why I didn't have enough to talk with people. I had to come on YouTube. So that's what I did. I came on YouTube and I decided to speak my mind. But anyway, I want to hear you guys. I don't know who wants to start talking about I think Jimi had a lot to say. Jennifer also. Jennifer, I saw you write stuff, because Jennifer is a big writer. Me, I love to read your stuff. And you wrote a lot about that on Facebook, and it created a lot of reaction, because people, like, sometimes you're going to write stuff on Facebook, it can engage in a very, very deep discussion. Like, the same people that are on YouTube are mostly all on Facebook. So we find each other on YouTube, but we're finding each other on Facebook, and then we take the other way to communicate, which is writing. And Jennifer is a queen for that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So maybe you guys, I don't know who wants to start first to give his opinion about the hype that's going around those big trees and those giant trees. But I want to give you something I want to tell you. I was doing a reflection this week, and I'm like, okay, it's nice, those big trees, and I'm sure probably at one point on Earth the vegetation was much more luxurious than what we have now, for sure, no doubt about that. To say that there was tree of 6,000 kilometers, it's another thing, 600 kilometers or something like that. To me, it's a bit fairy tale. But anyway, the mark of an intelligent person is to be able to entertain a thought without even agreeing with it. Like, I don't agree with the whole thing, but I'm able to entertain it because I'm intelligent. And I want to see what's true in there, So there is truth in there. There is, and also the moon. That connected me right to the moon this week. And tell me your opinion after about it, because the moon is the same size as the sun. Me, I always thought in my reflection that I do alone in front of my house looking at stuff, that the moon was an old sun, possibly, that died. So if there was much more luxurious vegetation at one point on Earth, maybe there was two suns, projecting light on Earth, and the moon, maybe that's an old sun that died, but that's all entertainment. I'm trying to see here and there. I don't say I have all the answers and the truth and nothing but the truth, but I'm trying to understand where and how that huge and enormous vegetation would have been able to take place on Earth. And I think maybe with two suns would have been possible. I don't know. It's just a thought.
Well, I went ahead and made a whole video about it, and in a few days it has gotten about 3,800 views. So it seems that everyone is very interested in that, and a lot of people have called me very stupid for questioning it, and a lot of people have come up and said, "Oh yes, it is true, because if a tree trunk could be 30 miles in diameter, that means that that tree was 1,000 miles up." And to get lost in an unreal world like that we cannot even find any pieces of it on Earth is just my concern. I'm not saying that they were not huge trees, and of course they were, and they were even giants. But then can we find the remnants and prove it like we are proving flat Earth? Flat Earth is flat horizons and flat waters, a small sun right here, and a geocentric reality that we can prove. But can we prove the other one? And if we cannot really prove it, are we going to really hang up on it? So that was my take on it.
Yeah, no, I don't know, Jimmy. Maybe you can give me your opinion on that.
Well, I was very intrigued, like I think most of us, with that video, and a lot of it resonated as a true possibility. Not to say that because there's so much we don't know, and there's so much that we will probably never know. We know how much has been hidden from us. That's a given, and these things really spark our imagination and our thought process, and make us wonder. Is that possible? And of course it is possible. And the thought that I had about the trees, I don't agree with the idea that this was a silicon-based tree system or whatever. My thought is, and this could be totally crazy too, but what occurred to me is that there were giant trees at one time, similar to the movie Avatar, but through some type of energetic weapon system or something like that, it was transformed into these crystalline structures. And I think that there was some kind of cataclysm or something like that. It's a possibility. Again, I could be way off, but that's kind of the way I view it. And a lot of people have really gone off on a tangent with this, but I see it. I think we have, like you said, Yannick, we have to keep an open mind, and we have to be able to consider these things without losing our minds. And and of course, flat Earth is supremely important until everybody recognizes the truth of that. But at the same time, I'm not concerned that people are exploring the idea of the giant trees and what that means, because we have to consider all these things that come into into public consciousness and see if it makes sense. Again, even the flat Earth, and I was telling Mar earlier this week that the main thing that all humans have to be concerned about is really what's happening in our world. We've got a world run by satanic, evil psychopaths that have given us nonstop war. They basically have created, they created this money slave system. That's in our face. We've got to educate people on that. We've got to do something about that. But at the same time, understanding the fundamental depth of the deception which the flat Earth woke, millions of people up to is super important too. But I don't see a problem with exploring, different ideas that come into our purview. And looking into them, and we're all going to have different ideas about it. And there's even a guy out there, I forget his YouTube video, it's Mud something or other, but he's claiming that all these what we're calling tree stumps are actually remains of giant beings, and that's their tendons,
Wow.
So I mean, people have all kinds of different reactions and different ideas about what these things are, and I think it makes sense to just consider it for yourself and look into it. But ultimately, we have to not be so distracted that we forget about what we're really trying to accomplish, and that is the freedom of humanity. We're in a slave world. We're run by crazy people. And until enough human beings wake up to that fact and stop cooperating with it, that's the camel in the tent. That's the elephant in the room that we really need to be aware of, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, there's an elephant in the room and no one is seeing it. But some are seeing it, but I mean, a lot of people don't see the elephant that they have in their room, and that's why those giant trees like that happened 7,000 something years ago that the guy said is taking us away from the here and now and solving the problem that we have now also. So, it's the only, it's a truth. Maybe there's truth in there, but it brings us back to 7,000 years ago where the truth we can all experience now is where we put our feet every day on the ground, which is the earth. That we can all experience that truth every day, today. Right now, we can go outside and experience that truth. You, and everybody. We can all do it. So the only truth we can all rely to is the earth. Whether it's flat, square, on the turtle, whatever, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I know we've been lied to. And listen, if we fly on a turtle through space, we fly on a turtle. Qu'est-ce que je te dis? What do you want me to tell you? But I don't think that's what it is, but anyway.
My concern with that whole thing is to not to consider the intelligent existence and the creator again that we found through the flat earth model. Exactly. You know, when we had a whole huge world full of such gigantic beyond imagination trees that were cut down with no indications of them left in our world, it just kind of gives the whole world again to these satanic, humongous beings that were what? God? We need to bring the intelligence in. And yes, and Jimmy, you were saying that you don't believe that they were silicon-based, yet, as you see, they don't have the rings. They don't have the rings. So they only have this, how do you say it, vertical
struts, I think.
Hexagon.
Yeah, the hexagon thing that cannot be, you know, if they were not something else. So, and someone else said on the video, they said it's very easy, it's very simple, like the way that we see the ship with a telescope. Just dig at the bottom of these mountains and see if there is a root system.
That's what I wrote on Facebook. I said, okay, why don't we dig for the root? Where's the roots?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Jennifer, what was your impression when you first saw the video and all that? Because I didn't exchange with you at all, and I want to hear your point of view. Of course, Divine Feminine is always a delight to hear you guys. So I'm always
well, I listened to your guys' last hangout, and I agreed with everything. I didn't think the video really talked about giants, so I didn't know where that was. Really, it didn't suggest giants. It suggested giant trees. My concern was I didn't see the video for like a day. I just saw all these reactions to the video, and I was like obsessed with how people were like, it was like running for the tree stumps kind of thing, and I'm like, what is this about? And then I watched it, and I couldn't really understand it when it was just the Russian accent, so I found one that was in English, and I watched it like 7 times. And I just really wanted to soak it up because I was trying to figure out what was so life-changing and paradigm-changing about this video, because if I had just watched it without watching the reactions, I probably wouldn't have been that moved by it. I did feel intensely helpless at the very end of it. And when you feel this way, that's what I look at. It's like, how did this video make me feel? For one thing, there was absolutely no solutions given to how we would even... I do believe that our Earth has been completely just strip-mined. And when I went to the Grand Canyon 3 weeks ago, the first thing I said was, it looks like a giant quarry. And I was just like, it just looks like a giant quarry. And I kept staring at it, and I was like... And, it just, you don't listen to yourself because we're so trained to, like, take things at what they tell us it is. So when I came back and that video was out, I was like, well, yeah, that is a quarry. It's obviously a quarry. So that, and then I started, like, looking at, I went to San Francisco yesterday, and I'm like, you know what, I've never thought about it, but look at all these huge cities we have. Where did all these material come from? The earth, they have granite and marble, and It's huge cities everywhere, all over the earth. They had to dig out the earth to make our cities. And that made me sad because I was like, we are participating with the destruction of the earth by working in these buildings, supporting these buildings, going shopping. I felt like, what am I doing? You know, this is like, I'm just part of the problem. I'm not even aware. Well, I was aware yesterday, but before I wasn't aware of the city was dug out of the earth and our earth is strip mined because of these huge towns. So that was the main thing for me was I don't believe there was trees that big. I mean, I don't believe mountains are big, huge dump grounds. I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. The mountains to me they've been in history books, they've been in ancient cultures forever. I think mountains are part of our landscape naturally. But as far as the strip mining goes, it really devastated me after watching the video because there was no solution and it left me empty. And I saw all these people like so excited about this video, and it was all flat earthers, and he directed the video toward flat earthers, which I didn't understand, because if you're trying to get information out, why would you just give it to a small group of people or a small community? You know, that was kind of suspicious to me. And I saw people like hungry or thirsty for this paradigm shift and just like crack. They're like chasing a drug, you know, that high of life, you know, the big awakening they had last year with Flat Earth. It's almost like people are so just wanting that again, and maybe went overboard with how they felt about the video. But as far as I'm concerned, if there's no solution, you know, I have to look at my life and go, what can I do from here on out? And it's good to know they strip mine the earth, but we, like you said, Yannick, you can't go back. And the truth, you could string things together, but the likelihood that you're going to string together the perfect truth is slim to none. And I think we are missing the boat in a lot of things, because I don't think we could piece together history the way it's been taken out of our textbooks. I don't think we'll ever know the truth about history until the day we die and we go, what happened? What is this place?
I totally agree with you. I don't think we'll ever know the whole truth. We can only, I think, being here on Earth, we can only hope to find a part of it and make the best life possible with it, and to shine your light the maximum possible, but to find the whole truth. And you cannot go back in time. You cannot. You can only. All we have is the here and now, and we have each other here. And there's nobody else but us, human on Earth, to fix everything. There's nobody else but us. So we have to elevate our consciousness, and it's again, what is consciousness? Is to become conscious of your action, of what you speak, of what you eat. Consciousness is not something esoteric, spiritual stuff that's going to bring you into the cloud. No. Consciousness is being conscious of what you're saying when you're yapping your mouth, when you eat your food inside your plate. You know, that's all conscious stuff. But we have to become conscious. The day we become conscious, which means we all realize that we've been lied to on every level too. I mean, this place will change drastically for sure, but we have, very important to me, I will never stop that, shining my light, because I've been blinded by the light, so now it's got to come back out. So I've been blinded by the light of, I don't know, that's what they say, we're blind by the light of, and again, but me and my journey, there's so much things that come every day to make me feel more significant. So again, videos like that bring us back to a bit an insignificant state, that there would be, because if there's giant trees, someone has to cut them down. I mean,
yeah.
So
well, that was also the whole question too, because of the feeling that, Jennifer, you said, to be left kind of small and lost at the end was my feeling also. And also this woman brought it up, and there are some very interesting arguments under the video that I made, because I questioned it and I said red alert, and she came Yeah, and she came and she saw, she was saying that, well, how do we know that this is an act of the same people that wanted to destroy flat Earth? Because also flat Earth is shown as a distraction from what's happening in the world. A lot of people think it's a hoax, so it's like, well, this could be another hoax to take us away from the original one, and we never know that. Yet, what you said that you didn't hear anything about giants, but what me and Yannick were questioning in the last video was that, look, if there is a tree that is 30 miles in diameter, that could be as big as New York, someone should have had some type of an equipment made of metal or whatever that could cut it, and how big that someone should be to do that, right? And then where are the remnants of all these things? So there are all these theories. Oh, they took them with themselves to the other ponds, like they give them so much power. Who can have so much power? What this woman said was very interesting. She said the mountains are there because of the magnetic power, and that's exactly what Tesla said. Tesla undid gravity by saying it's all magnetism, and the mountains come up because they're live organoids. They're alive organoids of the surface of the earth, and they're very, very powerful. They're crystalline in their formation and everything. Anyways, I just wanted to say that that was the only reason I talked about the giants.
Okay. Yeah, no, I totally agree about, like, where's the debris? Just like when they say there's a crater hole. Where the hell's the crater? It's just a hole. How do you know it's a crater hole, you know? And they did show the machine of the men, like, regular men just tearing down these walls of rock, and but yeah, why
that's different.
Yeah, it's not a tree like that huge, and yeah, I don't know where they would put all that debris. That was my question too. Totally agree with that.
And also the volcanoes, he's saying that now all the mountains would be pile of dirt. Like, okay, you gotta pipe this with a mega huge crane, a payloader or something. I don't know how you call that, but the pelle mécanique, the one that throw the, you know, it's anyway. You would have to have a tremendous amount of equipment to do a pile of dirt like that. I agree. The way you look at it, yeah. But anyway, anything. The moment you look at something and you change the way you look at it, it can change. Like the sun, I always thought there was a big ball of fire. From the moment I look at it, I said, no, it's a disc. Then I realize a lot of stuff, but anyway, we just take what we're fed with and we go along with life like that, and we don't ask questions. So the moment people are going to ask questions and question things, that's why we're here today, and every week and every day we make videos on YouTube is to question things, because it seems to be something very awkward today to question things in society. You become ostracized by your family, by your often your close relative push you away, and I don't know. Speaking truth, it seems to be but it's a revolutionary act for sure. Speaking truth in a society so dysfunctional, speaking truth is a revolutionary act, and soon we will find out who are the real revolutionaries. I always said it, and we can't stop. And flat Earth is not old news. And when I see people taking that big giant trees, okay, there's. Like, I look at it, for sure, like I say, I can entertain the thing, but I mean, where's the debris from that? And the volcanoes, like he's saying now that these mountains would be, volcanoes don't exist. Like, I mean, the whole shape of the Earth, the whole surface of the Earth is completely not what we've been told at all.
And also something really unreal, like they actually carved all the holes that became oceans later. Come on, that's giving some beings so much power, and then minusing God out of equation again. It's like, God. Where is God? I mean, these beings had God power in order to be able to carve our oceans. And then someone said, and the craters is just a chestnut that fell down from one of these trees.
You know, another thing that we have to become, I think that we have, another thing we have to become conscious. You don't have to agree with me, but this is something that I'm going to give you my point of view, and it's something I really cleared out my head. I might be criticized for it. Like I said, I come here to speak my mind, but I cleared out the word God out of my head because it's an emotional attachment to a word. Hold on. I'm not saying there's no creation, no creator, but the word God is something that they want us to be attached, emotionally attached to.
That's
and
true.
Who tells you to believe in the word God?
I agree.
Them. It's the Vatican. It's all the religious people in the world. It's the patriots that want us to believe in the word God. But come on, I think it's much more than that. The creation is much more than just one word. Come on, I think it's a magnificent consciousness all working together, and we're all part of creation, and we're all creators, co-creators of this reality. And there's nobody else but us. It's not like there would be other beings over us, or God would be on earth, like you say, God would be on earth. No, there's nobody else but humans, us, man to man, woman to woman. There's nobody else. And we're all equal. A man is just a man, a woman is just a woman. So there's nobody else. So it's up to us to fix this mess. We've been put under tremendous trauma. We're getting out the trauma little by little, but I think coming like that on YouTube together is a very good way to undo that trauma. Because who the heck do you want me to talk about this stuff to? Giant trees. I'm going to go to the grocery store and approach the girl at the cash. Hey, you know about giant trees and giants on there that matter? Come on, people. They are just so distracted today, so distracted because it's a distraction that keeps people away from researching. It's only the distraction. Once you clear that out.
Just one thing regarding God that you said also.
Yeah, give me your point of view on that, on God.
They called it God because it's a reverse of dog.
Yeah,
because they have no concern for the creation, so they called it dog. And I have started practicing not calling it dog, not calling it God, even though I just did right now. But between me and my daughter, we call it the beloved.
Exactly. There is a creator. There is creation.
I love that.
I'm not denying the fact that there's a creator. Come on, I don't have a ego that big to edging everything out. But I know it's not the word God. It's out of my head. It's out of my head totally because it comes from them. It comes from them. It's something that the words, the vocabulary is so there to program us to. That's essential for them to have the vocabulary and the grammar. The grammar, again, you're talking about a grimoire, and it's invoking demons. It has to do with invoking demons.
Yeah.
Spell.
You can't say cast a spell and all that. So there's so much to it. So Jimmy, what are you up to?
Yeah, I agree with you. The whole concept of the word God. Also, most religions have, when they use the word God, they have created that image in the human sense. And even in the Bible, it talks about God being a jealous God and a wrathful God. I mean, that's all bullshit. That's humanity. That's the dark side of humanity. Yeah. It has nothing to do with the Creator. So yeah, you're right. When certain labels like that definitely create an image. Whether it's the old man with the gray beard and the long robe, or something similar to that. It's crap, and in this consciousness, it's pretty hard to actually even imagine the being that made all of this and all of us. But I do feel like every one of us is a piece of that. Whatever that creator is, we are a spark of that, a small piece of that, even though we have not fully connected in consciousness with that yet, or otherwise we'd probably pop out of here in about 2 seconds. The other thing I just wanted to say is that the best thing we can do, and what we're actually engaging in right now, we're talking about this whole giant tree issue or whatever, we're all just speculating, and none of us know, and none of us can prove any of it one way or another. We're just speculating to the best of our ability. And and in a way, by saying, well, God wouldn't create this or wouldn't create that, we're limiting that too. We're speculating, saying that's our opinion. We don't think God would have created giant trees or God would have created giant beings, but we don't know. It's just our own speculation and thought process based upon what we've seen and learned so far. So I think we just have to sort of, treat it like any other piece of information. Let it kind of percolate, and but not let it take over our whole intent and what we're trying to do here. But not to be distracted by it or worried about it or concerned about it. I don't see where the knowledge of this video causes any great concern or something that we have to find a solution for. I don't see where it creates a problem. It's just more information that's popping out there. Now, if people choose to go down that path and go, well, I'm going to forget everything else and I'm going to talk about giant trees, that's their choice. It has nothing to do with anybody else. That's their personal choice, and they're welcome to do that. I think it's interesting to talk about these things, and I love to do it because I'm very curious about everything. But ultimately, my focus is how are we going to effectively change for the better this world we're in today. The society we're in today, the craziness that we're surrounded with. We're literally at war with these dark beings that have controlled everything, and they're throwing everything at us but the freaking kitchen sink. From the vaccines to the GMOs to the chemtrails to the fluoride in water to the it just goes on and on and on. And this is what we really have to focus on at some point and go, we got to stop this shit. They've got to stop this endless war. We've got to stop the slaughter. We've got to stop the blood sacrifices being made in war and with the animals that are being killed. And all of these, these are the pressing issues that we've got to do something about. It is fun to look at all this other stuff, but ultimately, how are we going to change our situation? How are we going to wake up enough people, to effectively put a stop to the insanity that is rampant in our world?
We're talking about waking up people mentally, but we have to understand that we're gone so far deep into the unconsciousness that now, even when we eat food, we eat scrap, and we know it because we put it in our mouth. Imagine, we're unconscious some of us, not all of us, some of us here on this plane are so unconscious that they feed themselves day after day with scrap, with real chemicals, and I can name it, McDonald's and all that, all the bad food you have out there, and they're not even conscious of that. So we're going, it's so, okay, we have attained a level of consciousness, probably that for sure we're conscious of a lot of stuff that other people aren't. But how to bring those people to a state of consciousness like we did, I think it's a personal journey. You have to want it. You have to want to know what the world is all about. But some people are just gone so deep in the unconsciousness that I don't know if they can ever wake up from that unconscious state.
Okay, so right there I have to oppose you. And because that's exactly how they want us to think. That's what I was talking to Jimi the beginning of the week, and I said even the most conscious of us, if you open our brains and our hearts, you will see this whole field of unconscious information in there. We have to take responsibility for that on Earth right now. We may think that we are awake, yet I was talking about the Jedi revolution in this video that I'm going to post pretty soon. The Jedi revolution is really about becoming aware of how much of our brain capacity we are not using. We are using only 10% of our brain, and from that 10%, 80% of it is filled up with shit. And the shit is a collective, it's a collective unconscious thoughts that is going on in all of us. Then there is 10% that is awake, and we want to do something about it. The revolution starts from inside each one of us. We have to wake up at such a deep level at this time to be able to shift anything on this earth. And Jimi, you were saying that, of course God could have created such gigantic, 1,000 mile up trees. Of course, God can do that. Yet the feeling of insignificance from the story is what Jennifer and I were talking about. You know, it's like at this time we have to feel more significant. And Yannick, as you said, you were saying that you know, I don't think the people of the world will wake up. We have to remember right now that we have the power to wake up, and it takes only few of us to really shed that much light and increase our brain's capacity that big to an infinite power zone that we know we're going to shift this. There is no other way.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very hard to take everyone subjectively and wake them all up. I think it's a consciousness universal thing that we're elevating all together. But
Yes.
I cannot. There's people, Mark. They're so far down the unconsciousness
Yes.
that there is some people that they don't want to wait. That's what I'm saying. So I don't concentrate on those people. I concentrate on the people that have a little spark of, oh, there's something wrong with the world. And yeah, I want to know. I want. Come to me, I'll tell you all I know. And then, no, for sure, but that was my point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just such a personal journey. And, you know, as long as you and you and you and me and the people who are really trying to awaken in our lives and who are trying to do our best, that is all we have control over. Like, I've had to be ground myself because shit happens in life, and you have to deal with bullshit all the time. And it's like I don't have control over some of the outside circumstances that I'm faced with at times. I don't have control that I'm going through grief right now. I don't have control of my children's father being out running on drugs again. And if I'm out to save the world while I'm not cleaning up my street over here, what is that? That's just like, you know, it's just throwing nothing into the wind. I'm not doing any good if I'm not handling my life in a conscious manner, you know. And I've kind of stopped worrying about like waking up everyone at this point, because I just know me being awake changes a lot, because a lot of people in my life has changed simply because I've shifted and they've started shifting. So if we are in control of our little world, the world around us starts shifting, and it's not so big and scary and untouchable and unfathomable when you're focused in, like you said, Yannick, in your what you eat every day, what you say every day, and that's where I'm at with it. I can't worry about the whole world anymore.
I don't think it's a worrying about the whole world, really. It's about, as Joanna Macy is one of my teachers that activated me at this field, like about 20 years ago, says. She says, world as a lover, world as a self. There is no separation between us and the world. And that whole focus about just self is also another religion. We are one with this world. And of course, whatever we do internally, it's going to affect the world. And that's why where the Jedi revolution comes through. You do the inner revolution because you are expecting an outer revolution as God sent.
But if you want to manifest an outer revolution, you have to manifest it inside. Anything you want to ignite in other people, you have to ignite it inside you first.
Exactly.
If you don't, if you're not ignited yourself, you cannot ignite nothing in people. That's why I'm like a firework. I'm like
it's a ripple effect.
I don't stop. Yeah, that's it.
Well, I always tell people that one of my biggest hopes for humanity is that whole 100th monkey syndrome kicking in at some point.
Yes.
Yes.
That we get enough of us to wake up that it's just going to permeate the entire consciousness, you know, whether they like it or not. It's just going to all of a sudden dawn on them one day, like, oh my God. You know?
Exactly.
So I'm really hoping for that, and I think it's a possibility. So I don't think that's, you know, crazy to think that way. The phenomenon has been, you know, noted to happen before. So I kind of, hold out for, we don't need to wake everybody up immediately. If we get enough of us, that it's just going to all be like an avalanche, and hopefully, it'll just spread fast and furious throughout the whole human family.
Yeah, and also not letting what is happening in the circumstances of the world to crumble our energies and our powers and our fate internally, by hopelessness and sadness. And because I do feel sad. I mean, if I allow myself, I do feel sad. And then this morning I had to read a Rumi poetry that says, don't give so much of yourself to sadness and suffering. Give all that you have to the source. And allow the source to just shine upon you and through you into the world, because there is no separation.
Yeah, for sure. We're not responsible for other people's wreck in their life, but the suffering of people affects me for sure. The suffering that people feel on earth, they're all my brothers and sisters, so I'm affected by it no matter what. So, I don't sleep. Yes, I sleep at night, but I always sleep thinking that the world could be better. I live in a world so strange. I relate to the earth, but I don't relate to the world, because the world is a lie. The world, when I talk about the world, is not the earth. The earth is where we are. The world is what they created. It's another word that they got us attached to, the world. But the world is a lie. So I'm not attached to the world, and I've never fit in. Especially when I was young. I told you stories about me before. I've never been a guy that fit in into this thing. So it was instantly for me that I understood everything about the flat earth, about the cosmos not being there and this and that. I understood right away, because once you don't fit in, it's much easier to wake up. So that's why I concentrate a lot on the reggae singers, on the reggae artists, on people that don't really fit in, to wake them up, because it's much easier to wake up when you don't fit in. If you get someone that's been heavily, like my mother, take my mother, forget about it, my mother, you cannot wake her up. She ostracized me totally because I speak truth, and she tells my children I lie. So they're so dependent on the system that they will fight to defend it. My own mother, I'm talking about. Imagine those people.
Yeah, just like Neo said in The Matrix, that their people are so hopelessly entangled into the Matrix that they will fight you to stay in it and defend it. And that is so absolutely true. And just recently with the Olympics going on in Brazil, you see on one hand, if you watch the television broadcast, it looks like this wonderful gathering of people from around the world, and they make it sound so great, But then there was one picture that I saw that somebody posted on Facebook, which really said it all. And there was a group of, obviously homeless, starving people at the fringes, watching the fireworks from a distance. And, this is the reality of what's going on in Brazil. There's always the elite class everywhere in the world, but the majority of people are suffering greatly. Venezuela is a freaking nightmare right now. People are starving in the streets. And you've got all this craziness going on in the world that it's like there's this complete fake reality. And even it's gotten even more... It's gotten more of a contrast than there ever has been before. It's always been fake, but now the extent is so great that it's just, you feel like you're in the Twilight Zone, because they're painting this picture of the world, and like it's okay, everything. There's a few problems, but basically it's all good. But no, it's completely jacked. It's so freaking crazy that we've got to do something about this. And that's what we're up against. This programming is so powerful.
Yeah.
The psychotronic weaponry that's being deployed against people is amazing. And it's so powerful now. And I think the better the picture quality gets, the worse it is.
Yes, that's
so true. So true.
And also in Brazil, it seems that they moved 250 families
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
To do the Olympics.
250,000. Yeah, to build the Olympic stage and everything. Oh my God! And they don't have any money to feed any of these people. Yet they have billions of dollars to pour into making sure that the superiority of some of us over the others. You know, it's
Yeah.
like there is a hidden agenda even behind that at all levels.
Oh
But
yes.
it's very important to keep the Olympics going also because it's the summum of all the sports and it's the distraction. The worst, the biggest distraction that they implement here on Earth is the sports, the professional sports. So the Olympics is very important that they go around. But there's a lot, like the moon has been acting very strange since the beginning of those Olympics. Listen, they launched those Olympics, all those events on celestial events dates also. It's related to the celestial events. And the moon has been acting very weird lately. Like she's changing color during the night and she goes down and she goes down very fast. And I don't know, there's something with the moon.
I watched that last night. I was watching the stars for hours last night out on the hills, and the moon was really moved fast. Like it was like I could see it and then it was gone. And I'm like, that was like 5 minutes. What happened here? And I couldn't see it for the rest of the night.
She disappears suddenly. It's like I don't see her set because I never seen her set on the horizon. Maybe I'm wrong, but I never seen it. But I see her disappear, and she's acting very weird. So probably the moon has something to do with her launch of the Olympics. My son also. We were talking about that the other day. He said, "Yeah, it's a big Olympic."
Well, it's because it's the representation of a female, so she always acts weird.
that was the answer of my wife.
But also a little point on what you said, that you think that the moon is a dead sun. That's also no. The moon is never a dead sun. That means the female is never a dead man.
No, I know that. But again, we have a representation, a feminine representation of the moon. But is it really like, okay, in our day in life, reality, it makes sense that the moon is female, the sun is male, and this and that. But again, it's things we attach to it because we've been told, and so.
Well,
again,
the same ancient civilizations that believe that the Earth is flat, they also believe that the sun is a representation of the male and the moon is a representation of the female. It's okay, and they're both in balance.
I just question everything, so for sure that's gonna come into my questioning. But I don't I agree with you. But again, the cycle of the moon is like 28 days, I think, or something like that. So same as the woman menstrual cycle. So it's very attached to the woman's and that. And okay, I give you.
Okay, just a correction.
Just a correction.
I think the moon is totally a technology of some type.
Tell me.
I think it's broadcasting, both with the light and some other frequencies that we probably aren't even aware of. But I don't think it's anything that we would consider, such as the Earth, as being natural in any way. And I very much think that it could very well be the cause of the veil of forgetfulness that we experience. And the fact that we can't access our full consciousness that we should have in the connection with our higher self. I think the moon is where the sun appears to give us energy to grow things and all that. That's the technology of the sun. The moon, I think, is more of a control technology. It just appears that way to me. I don't really attribute a male or female to it. It just seems in there. Like Jennifer was saying, there's so many bizarre things that happen with it that tell you it's not a natural, cyclical, exact thing that we would expect from nature. And maybe we shouldn't expect that.
I oppose you right there again. Because
I like you, Mark.
It's because, first of all, there are specific plants, on Earth. One of them being primrose. Primrose is a very, very special rose that only grows in the moonlight, only. The moonlight is very,
What?
very essential. Yes,
Oh
it
yeah.
only blooms to the moonlight, and there are many, many other herbs and the cycles of life that are dependent on the light of the moon. And the light of the moon is a very different frequency than the light of the sun. It's not the same at all, and it's for the balance. It's for the balance of the earth. We need these 2 points of light to create balance above us. There is no other way. So again, by saying that it's a technology, we're giving power to what? I mean, to what kind? You know, it's like, okay, let's say that there is a flat earth and there's only a sun on top of it. And then they have created this image of a fake thing called moon. I mean, it doesn't. It almost looks like a broken circle, and then the yin and yang goes away.
Well,
I don't know.
I think people think that there was a moon, a real moon in the, at some point in time, and then something happened, and they created a technical something that's not the original moon. That's what I've been looking into, and that it's a very odd thing, and it has like a metallic sound to it. And a lot of people think that there was a moon, but it's no longer there, and they replaced it. So that could be the case too.
They replaced it.
I mean, I know that we don't know everything, but there's other beings in the universe, and I'm not saying out in space, obviously, but there's other names of beings, the Nephilim, and we don't know. Their technology back in the old days is way beyond what we have now. So that's where that information is coming from.
Sure, but then their technology is gone now. We don't have that unless the government has it. And what would be the point of creating a moon in the sky that even 5,000 years ago or 1,000 years ago the poets would write about, where they didn't have any machineries or anything? You know, the moon has been here since we have been here. You know, to give power to some beings that have that much power to create this cyclical, amazing light that is always according to the balance. It moves with the balance. It's not something out of balance. I don't know. I'll question that.
I'm with you. No, I'm with you, Mar. I'm very, very grounded to the fact that the moon is divine. But Jabba also is like Jimi. He told me that once. He said, Yannick, I think the moon is projected. Jabba told me. Yeah. Jabba told me also. We were gonna do a hangout about it, talk about it more flatter. But
I think more than anything else was projected is a false reality of humanity.
I think so.
We are living in a false reality within ourselves. We don't even know who we are. We have forgotten that, and here we have given ourselves to all kinds of satanic powers that could rule us at all levels inside, and even our moon.
They do rule us, and that's the problem. You know, that is the problem. And I think
give us your answer now, Jimmy.
I think it's very possible that they have some technology that's so far beyond what anybody can imagine at this point. And that's not to say the creator, he has the trump card. He, she, it, whatever you want to call it. The creator can do anything, but it's really apparent that these dark beings have some pretty freaking amazing technology, including time travel and things like that, which we don't have access to. We probably should have access to it if we are fully engaged with our actual spirit being. But how many of us are? I mean, we hear stories about people who have these abilities to bilocate, like yogis and things like that, who have, these amazing powers, but how many of us humans actually can do that? But I think it's quite possible that the dark side has technology that, that we're really not aware of. And that's why I say, I could be totally wrong, and I admit that, and it doesn't bother me a bit if I'm proved wrong at some point. But that's why I say the moon could definitely be a technology, because it doesn't appear to move or behave as any other light out there. And it's completely different and completely unique. You know, again, but I have to always say I could be wrong, and I don't mind being wrong if I am wrong. But that's my thought on it, and that's kind of the way I see it right now.
Okay, but it would be projected from where? Like, how do you, if you have an idea, you must have imagined something where it come from? What is it, some kind of a beam project? Like, how do you see it?
Well, a lot of people have talked about, they think that there's something on the other side of that facade, the circular facade that we see. Some people say that, you know, there's a black cube on the other side, or something similar to what the Borg have, you know, been shown to us in the Star Trek movies. I mean, who knows? I mean, again, we're always just speculating on things that we just don't know. And to me, it's kind of fun. You know, I don't mind, you know, I'm not buying into it, you know, with my life, you know, one way or another.
Yeah.
But it is fun to, you know, look at the possibilities and speculate on what it could be.
So I wanted to inject one thing right in there, and that is, what if these powers that someone said on my last video, he said, don't say that powers that should not be or the powers that are, say the powers that were. Meaning that start seeing these powers gone, the ones that are seemingly in control. So what I wanted to say was, what if these people are actually small beings like the Wizard of Oz? They are small, but they are standing in front of these huge, huge lights, and we think they're huge, and they have so much power, and they can time travel, and they have all the technologies to do all the different things. Maybe that's exactly what they want us to think, because once we think that way, we're giving them infinite power. And maybe they don't really have that much power, and they're really scared of us waking up. They're really scared of humanity waking up, so they're doing everything in their power to stop us from waking up. That's why they have created the Patrix like this.
So
I agree.
Yeah, so I have a totally different. Oh, so ahead.
Go ahead. I'll wait.
No,
I always talk. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I just have a different take on it. I mean, I don't see it so black and white. It's like we are spiritual beings, right? And this plane of existence is three-dimensional, and it's a place of learning. It's a place of growing. It's a place to become awake. A place where we've forgotten our soul. And there's little road paths to where we wake up along our path. And some people choose the path to wake up, and some people don't. We are choosing to wake up. But these dark forces really aren't this powerful thing. They're part of the plan of contrast. You can't have Earth without black and white. You can't have a three-dimensional without black and white. So even though these evil forces that we call them, it's just part of the what do I want to say, like the play, the big, you know, like Shakespeare says the whole world is a play and everyone's a player in the play, and it's just a big show. It's nothing to be so concerned about. I mean, I'm concerned. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm nonchalant about it. What I'm saying is not giving everything so much power, because they're in these dark forces are in the material world. You know, when we leave our bodies, we're out in the spiritual realm. So in this three-dimensional place, it is a matrix, it is a labyrinth, it is dark and light, it's black and white, it's a yin and yang, and without that darkness, we'd never known light. And I think we chose to come here to experience that, because you don't have it if you're always in the light. You don't even realize it, you know. So that's how I try to look at it, so I'm not like all, oh, it's too heavy and too dark and I can't do anything about it, you know. It's more like, oh, I'm in this game and I'm waking up to it. And
well, I think you just hit on the very let's see, what would you call it, universal perspective, where this is a holographic world, and I think many times that we created this entire thing for our experience and our you know, our growth, our education, that it is in fact a spiritual school with all the nasty shit in it and everything else.
Yeah.
That at the very, very highest level, we created this holographic experience so that we could then go into it and experience it firsthand. So when you look at it like that, it's like, who gives a shit, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's all good. It's all good. We're just, we're just here, along for the ride. But then again, you're absolutely right, Jennifer. You can look at it so many different ways. You can become a player in the play, or you can just become part of the audience and watch the play right in front of you as it goes by, So that's a choice too. So we can all just sort of sit on the sidelines and go, well, that's kind of crazy stuff going on over there, and just observe it and do nothing else. Or we can choose to be, part of it in some way, and maybe even in just a small way of us yakking and flapping our mouths here and try and share information. So I think ultimately it doesn't really matter a whole lot. I always think of that Star Trek episode where Jean-Luc Picard was only gone for 20 minutes, but he lived an entire lifetime on another planet in another place. And I often feel like when we pop out of here, we're just going to go, God, that was a crazy-ass ride. Wow, that was amazing. And it'll seem like we're gone 20 minutes, and then we'll go, oh, let's see, what's the next adventure going to be, So are we going to pick another crazy world like this, or are we going to pick another world where maybe it's a little nicer? Who knows?
Unicorns and rainbows next time around.
Yeah. Or maybe what a dream it was, and we just wake up from another dream.
Yeah.
Every night we wake up from a dream. We don't know if we were actually in that other world or not that night.
Exactly, and when you're in the dream, it's just as real as this is to us right now.
Yeah. Hey, we have a lot of people in the chat. I just want to mention it now. We have Yvonne V. Cunningham, Adam H. My bro Phil is there from Belgium. All kinds of people. Hold on.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Yeah, Cindy, Flat Forest. There's a lot of people. Thanks for joining in for sure. Yeah, what I was gonna add something before it slipped out my mind, but go ahead, keep going on what you were saying.
Jimmy wanted to talk about the fraud elections.
Oh, please talk about that.
Oh my God, I don't even know. It's just so literally insane, and especially on the national level, I don't think we've had a real election for who knows how long. And,
forever.
Forever.
Yeah. I think that it's really just the dog and pony show. Again, it's another distraction for the masses to keep them occupied and keep them divided. You got psychopath Trump, you got psychopath Hillary, just a different flavor of psychopath. You follow your favorite psychopath, down the road. It's just beyond belief, I love the memes that have come out, though. There was one about, we boiled it down and cooked all the crap, and this is what floated up to the top.
And, I saw that.
And on one hand you've got Hillary with a trail of dead bodies, behind her and her husband, of dozens of people, and then on the other hand you've got this narcissistic psychopath maniac, and these are the ones that are going to be the talking heads for us. It just, and of course we have to really understand that that's all they are, as spokespeople. They will never make any decisions once they get into office. They'll just follow the orders of the people who have always run things from behind the scenes. So it's just a big game.
A lot of 9/11 activists and really, really political people are saying that Trump is actually just acting this way, but he is supported by military and a lot of other people to actually make a shift. And for some reason, these very political conscious people are for Trump. I don't understand. What do you think that is?
It remains to be seen. It certainly doesn't appear that way. If you look at stuff he said in the past, he said a lot of crazy shit, and he was a big Hillary supporter 10, 15 years ago. It's just weird. The guy is, he inherited a shitload of money. You know, everybody says he's a self-made man. He's not a self-made man. You know, he inherited a shitload of money from his father. You know, did a lot of crazy stuff, lost a lot of money, went bankrupt a whole bunch of times, played that game. So it's not like he's this genius, you know, financial guy or anything like that. He's just somebody who they put out there who's going to, you know, create a stir, cause some polarity. Just like Timothy Ross Perot. Remember Ross Perot? Everybody said, oh, he's crazy. You know, that guy was actually smart. But they derailed him real fast because, you know, he was actually pointing out a lot of the shenanigans that they were doing with the financial stuff and the reporting of the financial systems. You know, and Obama, you know, 8 years ago, remember all the great stuff he said? They had him saying, oh, he's going to end the wars, he's going to close Guantanamo, he's going to give us free health care from the government. And what happened? Just the opposite of everything.
Constant war.
Constant war. He handed billions of dollars of business to the insurance companies, forced everybody to get it under penalty of having to pay a fine if you don't. I mean, it couldn't have gone much worse, you know. And it's just all insanity. And it doesn't matter who really gets in there. What matters is you know what they're going to try and pull off next, and whether people will wake up in time to see it for what it is and stop cooperating with it. That is the ultimate. I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it. The ultimate solution is non-cooperation. So if you're a military guy, you don't go and fight these stupid ass wars based on lies. You don't go slaughtering people for empire building and asset stripping of countries. You know, people need to become moral. And I know there's military guys who have morals or have morals, but there's not enough of them yet because they're still over there fighting, you know, and there's all these Blackwater guys, you know, and these private contractors that are fighting. They're importing heroin from Afghanistan. They're stealing oil from all these other countries. They're assassinating millions of people. That's got to stop. And if you can imagine if the military, if they declare another war, they try to keep this going, and the military goes, nope, that's it, we're done, we're not doing this stuff anymore. You know, we're going to actually start working towards, you know, creating a better world. Their game is done. And it's the same with the police, you know, and the IRS and all that kind of stuff. If you don't have some jackbooted thug out there to enforce your crap, you're done. So, you know, we've got to get these people that are the enforcers, you know, the order followers, we've got to get them to wake up and stop being these blind order followers. And then
and remember, we are all at some level order followers.
Yeah, we've got to stop that. We've got to become.
Stop voting.
Yeah.
Say no. I'm not voting for these idiots. I'm not gonna. This is a joke. Why are people even voting? This shouldn't even be our two choices for a president. That's I mean, it's just an insult to our society that we have these two ridiculous clowns that we have to vote for. Don't fucking vote.
No, don't vote.
I put that all the time on Facebook. Don't vote.
No, it's a waste of time. It's not going to change anything. What's going to change it is our behavior. And then financially, we can do it with what we spend money on. Don't buy junk food. Don't buy GMO. Don't buy stuff that's going to put money in the pockets of all these people that are trying to poison us. You know, don't buy the pharmaceutical drugs. You know, that's what's going to change everything. These people will go out of business if we stop supporting them.
Yeah.
Me, there's something I cannot wrap my head around, and it's, oh, there's a nice sunset outside. I can see the light. It's all orange. There's something I cannot wrap my head around is how many people in the U.S. now?
330, what is it, 330
million.
Okay, and you tell me with 330 million people, they have to narrow down to this shit?
Exactly.
It's insane. It's insane. It's just that. You have to narrow down to these two clowns, 340 million people. Just that. Everybody should see it. It's crazy.
One thing that I always encounter, because I am from another land, you know, originally, and when I hear that they say, oh, our democracy has been, you know, deleted or gone away or disturbed, it's like, what democracy? When democracy? What do you mean even by democracy? It has never been a democracy on this land since the beginning of the slaughter of 120 million Indians, all the way to all the black slaves suffering and killing. Which democracy? Even the what we call the Constitution was written by white men, on the blood of all these slaves. And okay, so some things is good about it, yet we have to really question everything.
First of all, the Constitution of the United States been ratified by only certain people, not everybody in the United States. As far as I'm concerned, did you sign the Constitution of the United States? No, huh? The Declaration, I don't know what's the document you call it. I think it's the Constitution or something.
Constitution. It's supposed to be amazing. It's supposed to be equal rights for everyone, but is it really?
Okay, but you, resident of the United States, you live in the United States, you are an organic state yourself. So you should have signed that fucking paper if you agree with it. You did not sign it. Nobody has signed it. It's their fucking bullshit. It's for them. It's their constitution for their brotherhood. It has nothing to do with general public at all. It's all for their brotherhood to keep everything really tight around them. And their secret societies, it has nothing to do. Believe me, I read enough on it. I did enough. Even the flag that everybody portrays in the United States is the war flag. It's not the continental flag of the United States. It's two different things. But people don't know that shit. They wave the flag of U.S. thinking, hey, I'm proud to be a United. Like, what is that? Proud to be a Canadian or proud to be a... Anyway, I'm so fed up of these.
Jimmy put this meme on that said, "If you think you're free, just go to a law library." Who made all these laws? For who?
Exactly.
Thousands and thousands. Yeah.
Every week there's new laws that they make. Every day I think they make new. They want to restrain our life so much with so many laws, and you can't look. Parks. You have parks closing. The other day, I went to my park where I do my video at my chilling spot. I see the opening and closing hours of the park.
Yeah. Well, you know what that is that we owe money. We're in debt. So the countries that we owe money to take over these lands, and we don't get to come in and out. So we have sunrise and sunset laws where I am. I got fined $233 because I was up past sunset a half hour. 3 law enforcement agents were waiting by our car to give us a ticket. Yeah. This was last September.
And
what I found out that was these lands, there's green. If you look on a map, there's green all over a map. These are like the parks, the supposed protected parks, but what they are is collateral for the debt we owe to other countries.
Yeah, but also to go back on those big trees, the national parks, the reason why I was interested in that video is also why, the old matrix, call it whatever you wanted, the reality that they have constructed for us, I think everything in there is really some way fake. So it could be very possible that this whole thing that we thought we were living on a globe. At one point we realized the Earth was not a globe. So it's well possible that what we see of the Earth today was not what it was back then. But again, all we have is here and now. And what we're going to fix the problem back then? No, we have to fix us together, this generation, this people coming, the young people, all of us here. Fix it. Fix it. Enough. Enough, bordel, enough. Oh, me, I'm so fed up of seeing people suffering, especially because of money, because of the mediocrity of the mind also. They like, hello, elevate your consciousness, elevate your mind. That's where the real revolution takes place, is when we all elevate our mind and consciousness and come to realize that we are one. We are one. We are
Yeah,
one.
basically there is a collective agreement that has created hell on earth.
Yeah.
And this is our emergence from this hell into what is more a state of a balance by remembering who we are and remembering our ancestors and how, for example, even the Indians lived so 7 generations after them can live in peace without leaving any footprints on the earth, meaning that you don't destroy the earth for the future generations. And those are the things that we don't know and we don't respect. We are so far from nature, and it is possible that it's the natural rule of the cancerous cells to, at some point, if they cannot be healed, the system has to die so a new system can start emerging. And at the same time, maybe we can start healing the whole organisms. That's why so many people have so much cancer. It's the same reflection of the cancer of the mind and the cancer of the energetic system of the earth. All these very wrong energies are eating up upon all of us, and it's time for us to really wake up from this hellish dream. And we have the power to do that, at least within ourselves and with each other's help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and realize who's lying to us and what are they doing with all the lies and the deception. I think it's important to see clear at one point. You want to know what the world is. I don't know. Me, it was always a passion for me to research. I've always been a seeker. I knew from a young age, so I came in contact with this, like all of you guys, for the greater benefit of everybody. It's not for me. It's because I knew also we can talk about responsibility.
Yeah.
Responsibility, I think we all have it here, the responsibility. So I think it's very important that we all take our responsibilities, the ability to respond to a certain situation.
Mm-hmm.
So, but many people don't have ability to respond to, and they don't want to take it. They don't want to take their responsibility seriously.
Just something funny. Just imagine the ball Earth with all these 1,000-mile humongous trees coming out of it from everywhere, and the thing is moving around itself so fast, and all these trees are like just something funny inject in it.
But again, the precious stone
slow down the it would slow down the circumference spin. It would slow down the spin of the Earth.
It would.
Trees.
It would.
But also, the guy was talking about precious stone coming from those trees. I found that a bit weird, but again,
there's no proof of it. That's the problem. There's no proof.
But where could the precious stone come from if they don't come from other forms, like silicone transform into? I think they said they morph into stone or something like that.
Well, it's like saying where our bodies come from. It's like the jewels and the amethyst and the rose quartz, or all the precious stones are important parts of the earth. This is Mother Earth. It's very wealthy and it's very rich. And we don't say that it's not coming from the Silicon era. It could be coming from the Silicon era. We just have to question. So many people want to go back to the pre-flood time. They say this is all flood. This is the Noah with the boat and whatever happened, and the waters came from the filament. And they say, look, if you're asking that they should have had a humongous saw to cut these trees, these giants, whatever, then it's all under the oceans. All those equipments are under the oceans, and we can't get to it. Okay, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's why at the end of the movie I was like left hanging. Like, what is? I mean, it's good to ponder this information, but what is left? I mean, I just was left so empty and sad. Yeah. And I don't know if everyone felt that way, but I did, and I
did too.
I don't know if it's necessarily about a solution, but hey, how do we move forward from this crap? It's just that's what I like to focus on, is what can we do now, which we're talking about, is how do we make things better. Though there's forests growing again. I live in a beautiful redwood forest, and it's the earth is replenishing, and it always will. It'll always be in balance and trying to be in balance.
Yeah.
How I felt me right away after is I looked outside and I imagined a big giant outside grabbing me with his hand and squishing me. Like,
What
it's
are you
crazy.
talking about?
Yeah, I was thinking there was like
Oh, when you
because
saw
when
the
I was
movie.
young, I was always dreaming of those giant Jack the Bean and stuff. So I was imagining a big giant coming to grab me with his just maybe his hair or something. Like it's crazy. It's make us feel so small, so small. But I mean, that's not the goal here. I think we have to bring us up, not down. But I will entertain the idea. Like there's certain stuff like it, but also his volcano is. So he says that there's no volcano. So where does
But he
lava
had,
come from? Have you ever seen a volcano
yeah,
erupt? Has someone
yeah.
ever
Well,
seen a
look at
volcano?
Hawaii, Yellowstone are now. I mean, they're constantly, flaring up. So he didn't even get into that, which I thought he should have if he was going to talk about volcanoes being, not natural. And he should have talked about where Hawaii's, what is that then? Because it's obviously creating more island land as peak.
Well,
Yeah.
so many people question me for being small-minded or kind of stupid for not getting the importance of that video. I just want to say, look, I really get the importance of that video. All this information are very important, yet I'm practical. Look, the horizon is flat. We can go based on that. Yet, if they were giants that could cut these trees into mesas, they should have lived in some type of structures. How come we don't see gigantic palaces made out of stone and precious jewels everywhere? What happened to them? Who destroyed those?
The flood.
The
That's
flood.
exactly right.
So
Well,
go
we
back
don't
to the
know.
religious flood. Yeah, we go there. That's true.
No, we don't know. We don't know
We
what
don't
happened.
We
know.
don't we
We
don't
don't
know
know.
anything really.
We're all just guessing about this stuff,
It's
Yes, we
Yeah.
know that the Earth is flat and it's geocentric and it's not moving. We know that. It's important to stay there until the entire humanity wakes up to that point.
That's why it's important not to get too much and get caught up in the hype too much and in their
yeah.
lives and in their thing, because the only real truth that we can all experience is the Earth. It's the Earth. So the Earth looks flat to me. 70% of the water on Earth there's 70% water on our Earth, so it has to remain flat. So it looks flat to me. So, but do I have a picture of the Earth? No. Can I affirm it's completely flat, that it's not a square? Well, I don't know, and I don't. You know what? I will probably never know. Never know. But I know one thing: I've been lied to, and that's what I'm talking about.
I know that it's an infinite plane.
Exact. It's an infinite plane. Now, where
I see it in my dreams.
one of my dreams is to grab a jet fighter plane and to just fly over Antarctica.
You'll get killed. You'll get killed.
I would love it. I would give my life.
You
But
would
at the end, maybe at the end when I get very old and I'm like, okay, now it's time for the sacrifice. I will go and grab a plane, follow a course, and pilot, grab a plane, and I'm going over Antarctica. I'm going to see what the fuck is there.
Good, we'll join you.
I'll be there.
Okay.
But that's a dream. But anyway, guys, that was I don't know if you want to add anything else. It was a great discussion. If you want
It was a really good discussion. I loved it. I like all our different points of views, and
yeah,
it's good to have some dichotomy in the foursome.
That's it. That was the point of getting together, was to get your point of views on that. I think we all pretty much gave our intake, so I will probably let you go and do your own thing, and
No,
we'll
but
meet.
we can't go without saying I love you guys so much. I love all the people who are waking up on Earth. It's so beautiful being in the presence of so many amazingly aware people. I feel held for the first time, really, really on Earth. I feel held. Thank you for your beingness.
Yeah, and thanks everybody also in the chat. There's a lot of people watching. Ali was there also. Ali was there. He's still watching.
Hi, Ali.
Yeah, but why attack the no forest hypothesis and give it attention like you are doing?
We're
Bar
not
is right.
attacking.
We should not.
Because we just want to talk about it since everybody's talking about it, and just give our points of view.
Yeah,
So-
hold on. Ali is saying something here.
But
Mar
it's
is
not
right.
attacking.
It's not attacking.
Yeah, Mar is right. We should not attach flat Earth with other theories. That's what Ali says.
Mhm.
Yeah, don't give it attention yet. If we give it too much attention, for sure it's no good. But anyway, yeah. So that was great, guys. There was a lot of people in the chat. Great Tru-Mon show again. Very, very happy to have all of you on again. It's my pleasure. I love to do those shows. It's very great for our consciousness, and everybody can benefit after from it. People are watching it, and it's good. It's good. We're sharing the inspiration. That's what it's all about. At first, it's not about money or gaining fame, being famous or anything. It's about elevating all together our consciousness, and we are us, consciousness fighter, we can say, or something like that, doing it. Or light workers, maybe. But light workers, again, I don't like, because you're being blind by the light, it's no good. But anyway, we are some kind of light workers. But
You can't
anyway,
say flat Earth and fame in the same sentence. That's like an oxymoron.
yeah, exactly.
Flat Earth and fame.
So it was a pleasure. So again, thank you very much, everybody, and we will
Thank
be
you.
back for another Tru-Mon show very, very soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on too. I really
Thank
loved it.
you. Yeah, thanks. That was great fun.
Namaste.